I, 30M, have a twin brother Rob, 30M, and our relationship has always been complicated. Being twins, people constantly compared us growing up, which really affected Rob. While I was naturally good at academics and sports, Rob struggled in school and was always trying to prove himself. Our parents tried their best to treat us equally, but Rob always felt like he was living in my shadow. Growing up, Rob would often try to compete with me in everything. If I joined the debate team, he would join too. If I played basketball, he would try out for the team. But things usually didn't work out well for him, which only made his resentment worse. I'd try to help him sometimes, but he would accuse me of showing off or being condescending. By high school, we barely talked despite living in the same house. College was when things really changed. Rob wanted to go to the same university as me but didn't get accepted. He ended up going to a local college while I went to a prestigious university on a scholarship. This created an even bigger rift between us. Rob had a serious girlfriend, Amy, during college, and she seemed to help him become more confident. But they broke up in his final year after she allegedly cheated on him with his best friend. Rob was devastated and became very bitter after that. After graduation, I started working in finance and quickly moved up the corporate ladder. Rob decided to open a small restaurant with some money he had inherited from our grandparents. The first year was rough for him, the restaurant nearly failed twice. But eventually, he turned things around and made it successful. It was the first time he had achieved something significant on his own, and I was genuinely happy for him. Our relationship improved slightly during this period, and we started having family dinners together occasionally. 3 years ago, I met Sarah through work. She's brilliant, kind, and successful in her own right as a corporate lawyer. When we started dating, Rob seemed supportive initially. He would even invite us to try new dishes at his restaurant. But things changed dramatically when Sarah and I got engaged last year. Rob had been single since Amy, focusing entirely on his restaurant. I guess seeing me settle down first triggered his old competitive feelings. The problem started small. Rob would make subtle comments about Sarah when she wasn't around, suggesting she was too good looking for me or questioning if she was really interested in someone boring like me. Then he started asking if I had made her sign a prenup because women like her were usually after money. I brushed these comments off initially, thinking Rob was just being protective in his own weird way. But things got progressively worse. Rob started telling our cousins that he had seen Sarah getting too friendly with her coworker Tom at the restaurant. He claimed they were always having lunch together and acting suspicious. When these rumors reached me, I confronted Rob. He denied spreading anything and acted hurt that I would accuse him of such things. He turned it around on me, saying I always thought the worst of him because I considered him a failure. 2 months before the wedding, Sarah was called into her boss's office. Someone had been sending anonymous emails to the company's HR and board members, suggesting she was embezzling funds and having an affair with a client. The emails contained some personal details about Sarah that only someone close to us would know. Sarah was devastated. She had worked hard to build her reputation at the firm. Fortunately, Sarah's boss had known her for years and trusted her completely. Instead of investigating Sarah, they investigated the source of the emails. The IT department traced them back to an IP address at Rob's restaurant. When I heard this, everything clicked into place, the rumors, the comments, the timing of it all. I drove to Rob's restaurant after hours and confronted him. At first, he tried to blame it on his restaurant's public Wi-Fi, claiming anyone could have sent those emails. But when I showed him the exact timestamps that matched with his presence at the restaurant, he broke down. He admitted to everything, the rumors, the emails, even creating fake social media accounts to monitor Sarah. Rob claimed he was doing it to protect me because he had a bad feeling about Sarah. But when I pressed harder, the truth came out. He couldn't stand seeing me happy and successful in my personal life while he was still alone. He said it wasn't fair that everything always worked out perfectly for me while he struggled. He mentioned being depressed and having dark thoughts, but instead of getting help, he chose to try to ruin my relationship. I was disgusted. This wasn't just sibling rivalry anymore, he had tried to destroy Sarah's career out of pure jealousy. I told him he was no longer welcome at my wedding and that I was done having him in my life. Our parents were devastated when they heard. They tried to mediate, saying Rob needed support and understanding rather than punishment. They suggested postponing the wedding so we could all attend family therapy together. I refused. Rob had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. He had deliberately tried to harm someone I loved, someone who had never done anything to him. The wedding went ahead as planned, but the family was divided. Many relatives sided with Rob, saying I was cruel to exclude my twin brother from such an important day. They argued that twins shared a special bond and that I was overreacting to what was essentially a cry for help. The situation got worse when word spread about what Rob had done. Several regular customers at his restaurant were friends with Sarah's colleagues. Once they heard about his attempt to get someone fired over a personal vendetta, they stopped coming. Rob's business started declining rapidly. Last week, Rob was forced to sell his restaurant due to financial difficulties. When he reached out asking for a loan to save the business, I told him he deserved to lose everything after what he did to Sarah and me. Our parents called me heartless, saying I was kicking my twin brother while he was down. But I don't feel bad. He tried to destroy Sarah's career and our relationship just because he was jealous. His actions had consequences, and I'm not responsible for fixing the mess he created. Some relatives are saying I went too far with my comment about his business failing. They think I should be more understanding since he's family. But I think he brought this upon himself. Ida? Edit. A lot of people are asking about Rob's relationship history. After Amy supposedly cheated on him in college, he became very distrustful of relationships. He went on a few dates over the years but nothing serious. He always said he was too busy with the restaurant, but I now wonder if there's more to those stories. Also, to clarify, our parents still financially support Rob occasionally, which might be why they're so desperate to make me forgive him. Update 1: A lot has happened since my last post. After Rob lost his restaurant, he moved back in with our parents. They've been calling me daily, saying he's severely depressed and barely leaving his room. They keep insisting that as his twin, I should understand his pain better than anyone. Mom even tried guilt-tripping me by bringing up how we shared everything as kids and how Rob always looked up to me. I've maintained my stance of no contact, which has made me the bad guy in their eyes once again. Last week, something unexpected happened that changed everything. Sarah received an email from Rob's ex-girlfriend Amy. At first, we were hesitant to open it, thinking Rob might have created a fake account. But after verifying through mutual connections, we confirmed it was really Amy. She had heard about what Rob did to us through common college friends and felt compelled to reach out. What Amy revealed completely changed my understanding of my brother. The story Rob had told everyone about their breakup, about Amy cheating with his best friend Mark, was entirely false. The truth was much darker. According to Amy, Rob had become extremely controlling during their relationship. It started subtly. He would check her phone while she was sleeping, question her about male classmates, and get angry if she didn't answer his calls immediately. Things escalated when Amy got an internship at a local firm. Rob would show up unannounced at her workplace to surprise her with lunch, but really he was checking if she was actually there. He insisted on having access to her email accounts to protect her from workplace harassment. When she refused, he created a fake email account pretending to be her and tried to access her work communications. The final straw came when Amy found out Rob had installed tracking software on her laptop. When she confronted him, he claimed he did it because he loved her and wanted to keep her safe. Amy tried to break up with him, but Rob threatened to hurt himself. He then started telling people she was cheating with Mark, who had been nothing more than a supportive friend during this time. Amy shared screenshots of old messages showing Rob's manipulation, how he would apologize after controlling outbursts, promise to change, then go right back to monitoring her every move. She said she kept quiet all these years because she wanted to move on with her life, but seeing Rob try similar tactics with Sarah made her realize he hadn't changed. After Amy's email, 2 other women reached out through social media. Rachel and Lisa had both briefly dated Rob in the years between Amy and my engagement. Their stories were disturbingly similar. Rachel dated Rob for 3 months 2 years after Amy. When she tried ending things because of his possessive behavior, Rob started spreading rumors at her workplace about her sleeping with her boss. She eventually had to change jobs because the rumors affected her work relationships. Lisa's story was from just a year before I met Sarah. She worked as a bartender at a restaurant near Rob's. They dated for about 2 months before she noticed red flags, Rob demanding to know her work schedule, questioning her about male customers, and showing up at her workplace unannounced. When she broke things off, Rob told her regular customers she was stealing from the register. She almost lost her job before security cameras proved she was innocent. The most shocking revelation came from Sarah's coworker Tom. Remember how Rob claimed Sarah was cheating with her coworker? Turns out Rob had been anonymously harassing both Tom and his wife Emma for months. He found their personal email addresses and sent detailed messages to Emma about Tom's supposed affair with Sarah. He included times and dates when Tom and Sarah were allegedly meeting, which were actually just regular team lunch meetings with their entire department. Emma almost filed for divorce before their tech-savvy son helped them trace the emails back to Rob's restaurant IP address. Tom didn't know about Rob's connection to me until he saw my wedding photos and recognized him. He had been hesitant to report the harassment to HR because he didn't want to cause problems for Sarah. When I shared all this information with our parents, their reaction was disappointing but not surprising. They refused to believe any of it, claiming Amy must be bitter about the breakup and had convinced the other women to lie. Mom suggested Amy was jealous that Rob had become successful with his restaurant while she was still single, which isn't even true. Amy is happily married. Rob's response was exactly what Amy predicted. He played the victim, claiming all these women were conspiring against him because they couldn't handle him rejecting them. He created long social media posts about how his ex-girlfriends were trying to destroy his life just when he was at his lowest point. Our parents shared these posts, asking family members to support Rob against these baseless accusations. But most relatives have finally started seeing through Rob's manipulation. Several have reached out to apologize for taking his side initially. Even our Aunt Susan, who was one of Rob's strongest supporters, called me privately to say she now understands why I cut contact with him. I'm still processing all this information. The brother I grew up with, who I always thought was just insecure and competitive, is actually a manipulative person who has harmed multiple women. Looking back, there were probably signs I missed because I was too focused on maintaining peace in the family. Some relatives are suggesting Rob needs professional help, but he refuses to acknowledge any wrongdoing. He still claims everyone is out to get him because they're jealous of his potential. Our parents continue to enable his behavior, making excuses and defending him despite the mounting evidence of his actions. Sarah suggested we might need to consider legal action if Rob escalates his behavior again. For now, we're documenting everything and maintaining strict no contact. I'm grateful these women came forward with their stories. At least now I know cutting Rob out of my life wasn't an overreaction. It was probably long overdue. Update 2: Things have escalated dramatically since my last update. After those women came forward with their stories, Rob's behavior got increasingly erratic. He created multiple fake social media accounts to harass Sarah and me. He would send long messages about how I destroyed his life by taking away his business and family support. When we blocked these accounts, he would just create new ones. The situation got more concerning when he started messaging our mutual friends and business contacts. He would send them lengthy emails about how I had always sabotaged his success out of jealousy. Some messages even suggested that Sarah and I were involved in financial fraud and that's how we could afford our lifestyle. We had to reach out to everyone individually to explain the situation. Then last week, something unexpected happened. Maria, Rob's former restaurant manager of 3 years, contacted me. She had quit 2 months before the restaurant failed, which I hadn't known about. She wanted to share some concerning information about why the restaurant really failed. According to Maria, Rob had been embezzling money from the business for over 8 months before it closed. She showed me evidence of him transferring company funds to his personal account and manipulating the books to hide it. He had set up a complex system of fake vendor payments that actually went to his own accounts. The most disturbing part was that Rob had been planning to blame Maria for the missing money if anyone discovered the theft. He had created a paper trail suggesting she had access to all the accounts and had been slowly documenting minor mistakes in her work to build a case against her. Maria discovered this when she accidentally found a draft email on the restaurant computer that Rob had written to the investors, detailing her supposed embezzlement. Maria quit immediately after finding this but was scared to come forward because Rob had personal information about her family that he had collected over the years. She only decided to speak up now because she heard about the other women's stories and realized she wasn't alone. The evidence Maria showed me was substantial: bank statements, transfer records, and even security footage showing Rob accessing the restaurant safe after hours on days when money went missing. She had documented everything before leaving. I shared this information with our parents, hoping they would finally see who Rob really is. Instead, they accused me of paying Maria to create fake evidence. They claimed I was trying to destroy Rob's reputation because I was jealous that he had owned his own business while I was just an employee. The mental gymnastics they performed to defend him were astounding. Rob found out about Maria's revelations through our parents. His reaction was predictable: he threatened to sue her for defamation and breach of contract. Maria responded by sending all the evidence to the restaurant's investors, who had lost considerable money when the business failed. This sparked a chain reaction. The investors started their own investigation and discovered even more financial irregularities. Apparently, Rob had also been claiming false expenses and pocketing the reimbursements. The total amount he stole was much larger than what Maria had initially discovered. Yesterday, Rob showed up drunk at my house at 2 a.m. He was crying about how everyone was conspiring against him. He claimed he only took the money because he needed to prove he could be as successful as me, and he was planning to put it all back once the restaurant became more profitable. When I refused to let him in, he started shouting that he would expose all my secrets to Sarah. I reminded him that unlike him, I don't have any secrets to hide. This made him more angry and he threatened to make sure my boss found out about things I supposedly did in college. I recorded the entire interaction on my phone and called the police when he wouldn't leave. They took him home but he spent the rest of the night sending threatening messages to both Sarah and me. Our parents called this morning to berate me for calling the police on my own brother. They said I should have just let him in and talked to him. They're still convinced that everything, the embezzlement evidence, the harassment claims from his exes, all of it, is part of some conspiracy against Rob. I've installed security cameras around our house and informed our neighbors about the situation. Sarah's company has also increased security at their office since Rob knows where she works. Some family members are still suggesting we need to help Rob because he's family, but I can't risk having him in our lives anymore. Looking back, I wonder how much of Rob's restaurant's success was real and how much was built on stolen money and cooked books. He always claimed he was finally proving himself, but it seems like it was just another one of his lies. Update 3: The situation with Rob finally reached its breaking point in a way none of us expected. After his drunk episode at my house, he became obsessed with exposing Sarah and me. He created a detailed website titled The Truth About My Twin filled with fabricated evidence of our supposed crimes. The website included doctored photos, fake bank statements, and made-up stories about fraud and insider trading. Rob didn't stop there. He emailed the website link to Sarah's entire law firm, my company's board of directors, and all our professional contacts. He even paid for online ads targeting people in our industry. The website included personal details about Sarah's clients and confidential case information he had gathered during his earlier harassment campaign. Sarah's law firm took immediate action since the allegations could seriously damage their reputation. Their legal team sent Rob a cease and desist letter, which he completely ignored. Instead, he added a new section to the website claiming the law firm was involved in covering up financial crimes. While this was happening, the restaurant's investors had been building a case against Rob based on Maria's evidence. The forensic audit revealed he had stolen over $300,000 through various schemes. Some of this money was traced to online gambling sites, which explained his desperate need for cash in the months before the restaurant failed. Rob's world finally crumbled when both legal actions hit simultaneously. Sarah's firm filed a defamation lawsuit, while the investors pressed criminal charges for embezzlement. When the police showed up at our parents' house with a warrant, Rob had a complete meltdown. He confessed everything to our parents: the lies about Amy's cheating, harassing Sarah and Tom, stealing from the restaurant, creating false evidence against us. He admitted to lying about his success all those years, saying he needed to prove he could be better than me at something. The restaurant had actually been struggling for years, and he had been stealing to maintain the appearance of success. Our parents finally reached out with a real apology. Mom was crying on the phone, saying she enabled Rob's behavior by always defending him. They offered to help pay for Rob's legal defense if he agreed to seek professional help and make amends. Rob initially refused, claiming he could defend himself, but changed his mind when his court-appointed lawyer explained the severity of the charges. Some relatives still think I should support Rob since he's finally getting help. Aunt Susan even suggested I speak as a character witness at his trial to help reduce his sentence. But I'm done. His actions weren't just about jealousy anymore. He deliberately tried to destroy multiple lives and businesses. Sarah and I recently found out we're expecting our first child. We decided to move to a new house in a different neighborhood, and we're not sharing the address with anyone who's still in contact with Rob. We've blocked him and our parents on everything, though Mom still tries to reach us through other relatives. The investor's lawyer contacted us last week. Apparently, Rob has agreed to a plea deal that includes paying restitution and serving some jail time. He wanted to send us a letter, but we declined to receive it. Some people might think I'm harsh for not giving him another chance, but his pattern of escalating behavior shows he's not just a troubled sibling, he's dangerous. Our parents finally stopped trying to force a reconciliation after their last attempt led to a heated argument where I laid out every single thing Rob had done over the years. They've accepted that they'll never meet their grandchild as long as they maintain contact with Rob. It's sad how everything ended, but I've learned that sometimes protecting your family means keeping toxic relatives far away, even if they share your DNA, or in this case, are your twin. What did surprise me was how many people from Rob's past have reached out to share similar stories now that everything is public. It seems his manipulation and schemes went far deeper than any of us knew. I'm just grateful we discovered the truth before he could cause more damage to our lives.